Hey, amidst all the silliness that's kind of emerging about Solo, a Star Wars story, aka Ranger Solo, aka Soylo, a Soy Wars story, has been some emerging criticism and indication that there's going to be a new plot thread added into the Star Wars mix of droid rights, droid lives matter, that kind of a thing. And at first, it does seem like a very ham-handed, super obvious attempt to have some sort of modern social commentary in our movie about fighting space Nazis. And regardless of whether or not that's appropriate for that film franchise in particular, I will say that philosophically speaking, there's actually some merit to consider the idea about the rights of artificial intelligence, especially as we're now merging into that age where we're claiming we have AI and we're getting closer and closer to having the real deal. I mean, it's kind of trotting stuff that was brought up by the classic Measure of a Man episode of The Next Generation, but we do have to consider what exactly it is that we're doing by potentially creating entities that are intelligent and self-aware and have their own version of feelings and needs and desires. We're wanting to replicate ourselves in technological form, so they're going to be like us. But our intention with them is entirely to enslave them. We want artificial things that we can create and patent and don't have rights because they weren't born, they were made by a person, and so therefore it's just as much a piece of property as a horseshoe or a piece of cloth you make. Um, like, what are we doing there? I mean, we need to ask ourselves that. And so maybe putting that kind of a message into a big popular work of science fiction isn't entirely that bad of a thing. I know there's a lot of bandwagon jumping on to want to, like, oh my God, there's more SJW madness being thrown into my beloved Star Wars, a movie about fighting space Nazis. Um, but like, let's not jump the gun on every little thing they come up with. Not everything's bad. Remember, Lucasfilm, for however much they might have bungled The Last Jedi and however kind of lackluster I felt Rogue One and Force Awakens were, they've also been producing Rebels and the Clone Wars. They are capable of making good things. They just need to put the right people in the right positions creatively. Kathleen Kennedy is getting an awful lot of hate, and maybe 10% of it's valid just from the business angle kind of stuff of why on earth are you antagonizing your customers. But on the other hand, she's not the creative controller there, and so she shouldn't be being blamed for any of that stuff. Blame her anonymous writers room, blame the specific directors and the screenwriters. Lawrence Kasdan has a lot more to do with why the modern Star Wars movies suck than Kathleen Kennedy does, but I don't really see anyone kind of daring to go there because we all love The Empire Strikes Back. He's the reason it was good. As if Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi would have all been the same movies if George Lucas had not been in the fucking room. Anyway, I guess that's the end of my rant. In summation, there's actually valid points to thinking about what exactly we're doing with robots and giving them rights or not, or creating them specifically because they're not allowed to have rights because of their property. And what is what a backdoor way to get back being able to own slaves, huh? Geez, guys. Well, anyway, have a good one.